Yeah, and we're live.
Yeah, put it
And
live.
today we're live. Good afternoon. Usually we're doing this in the morning.
Good
And
afternoon.
yeah, do you want to put that music back? This is very grown up. This
Oh my
is
God, we're gonna go
jazz.
sleepy on this one. You
This
sure you don't want to
is
sleep on this
no,
one?
no, I love it. I love it. It's sleepy, but it's a good change. It's like
It's a good change.
this
Absolutely.
is very sophisticated. It's like lounge in a very expensive hotel with nice
Oh my
cocktails.
goodness. Can
Yeah,
you imagine you going up
I
the
know.
elevator in an expensive
I,
hotel,
I
room
know. I love
24?
that. All right, guys. So I hope we're gonna have some of our friends here to,
Oh, I'm
let me
sure. I'm
just
sure.
click
Look,
on comments.
un-
I know everybody should be
unfortunately we were a
busy.
little bit late. Yeah, our schedules were a little bit, conflicted
Happens.
today, but I'm hoping that because of that, we were able to bring you some great content on this wonderful topic that we're going to talk about today. Conversion. And
Yep.
really, it's the second stage of what you do after you meet somebody. It's really
Yep.
converting that person to a lead.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you and I, we work with a lot of agents, and some of them feel like their first contact is it's already a lead. It's not even a contact, right?
Right.
Um, so
So we're gonna
it's
shed
one
some
of the things that
lights on
I
a lot
always,
of things. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
So
Yeah.
even if they come through the internet, or they see them in the open houses, or even talking to them at a bakery, all of a sudden that's a lead.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, to me and to my understanding, with the coachings that we've had, one of the coaches that we work with a lot, which is Seiko Powell, he says himself, a contact is a person who's a breathing human being that says hello, and just talks to you. The lead is what the person actually gets sort of an interest of housing, whether it's buying or
Right.
selling or renting.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I always use the word either contact or prospect, especially when it comes from internet leads, because this is where converting those are probably the hardest. But you can also use the tips that we're going to give you guys to convert the leads, and those are actually leads, from open
Right.
houses, because those guys actually came to the open houses wanting to see a
Mm-hmm.
product that you're presenting. Now it's up to you to either grab their interest on that particular house or direct them to something else. All right, so that's what we're
Right.
going to discuss today. I am going to
Absolutely.
shut my
I always, when
phone.
I first started with this,
Yeah,
just converting itself, I always felt it was nerve wracking for me.
I'm sure.
Not
Yeah.
knowing what to say to a customer, not knowing what questions to ask, what qualifications to do. All of a sudden, because it was an appointment, I thought it was an actual lead, but it was actually just somebody wanting to see an apartment.
Yeah.
So, these are things you want to look into, and how to convert them is very important to move on to the next couple of stages
Right.
of getting
Yeah.
appointments to close.
Yeah, definitely. So let's search. Oh, don't you love that meme? This lead is so
Uh,
raw. It's still called a prospect. So, guys, I'm gonna read some notes right there. So when you guys generate an internet lead, it is basically a contact once you talk to them. It's a prospect when you haven't spoken to them yet. You agree with me, Israel? So it's a
yes,
prospect. You
yeah,
have not even
yes,
spoken to them. All
yes.
right. So that lead is someone, actually, it's a contact that turned into a lead, is someone that is going to be making a decision about buying or selling in the very near future. And in the
Okay,
best scenarios, that would be 30 days. What? One month is great, right? Somebody like ready now. That's actually a
right.
great lead. I think like if you have like a 6 month, 1 year out, it's still a prospect. It's still kind
Mm,
of cold to me. That's going to need a lot of nurturing. But anyway, we can still
right,
do this, right?
right.
So then there is a whole process behind that. They might not be ready to buy the house today. They're still looking at stuff. Obviously, they're going on the internet because they have some interest. They're potential buyers, they're potential sellers. All right. And we have to understand that they're not leads until we actually have had contact with them. Right?
Well,
Do
yeah,
how
yeah.
right.
I
No,
mean,
go ahead, go
again,
ahead.
it's you do have the contact, but I guess what really follows up to what becomes a lead in this case
Yeah.
is really qualifying them. whether or not you can work with them,
Yes.
whether or not they're
Yes.
qualified in the sense of, the means, how ready they are, so
Mm-hmm.
on and so forth. So one of the things
Yeah.
I use, I know we're going to go over it in a few seconds, but one of the things I use really quick is, I really determine their motivation. Hey, Way.
Hi. Yeah.
Their
Let's say hi
motivation,
to where. Yes.
right, and their destination, whether it's actually a seller or buyer. Again, their motivation and their destination. Once you
Yes.
go into those kind of conversations, then you determine how much of a lead that person can be.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Right.
so
And I also wanted to get the mindset of you're gonna get, let's say from Zillow, since everybody is using Zillow, Premier Agent, or whatever, or other platform, you're getting sources
hmm
of
hmm
potential leads. You can get like a 200 leads, Zillow leads per month. That's just like a big pile of names that you actually have to contact
yes,
and see what their destination is going to be and when
right,
and where, right? So that's
right,
just like a pile of things. It's not concrete until it's tactile. You've been able to hear from them what they
right,
want and where they want to go.
right.
All right, so that's where you need to shift your mind. Okay, I have all those needs. Yeah, but what's going on with those? Because we know I've read when we were preparing for that training, because I like to get like new numbers updated. You know that only 0.5% of all those internet leads, 0.5%, 0.5% get converted into actual clients, buyer or sellers. 0.5%.
Why is that? What do you think is the reason?
Well, that leads me to our next slide. Why you suck at why you suck at
Why is
converting internet
that?
leads?
This is why.
Right?
I
Let's
mean,
be
let's
real.
talk about
Okay.
why.
And I'm
Let's be
guilty
real.
of the same thing.
Me too.
All right.
1,000%.
Because it's like, oh, I can convert. First of all, we all need to shift our mindset here on several things. And that's
Yes.
going to lead me to that next slide. Okay. Why we suck at basically converting those leads, and what we're aiming, I think, in the business, like a nice 1% conversion, 1.5% conversion. When somebody's going to tell me, oh, I convert 10% of
Yes.
my internet leads, I don't even know if I want to believe them. Right?
Mm.
Because a lot of the times you're going to have people on the internet that are thinking of buying something, and
Yes.
they're not even qualified, they're not even there yet, but the idea is starting to form. So
Right.
conversion might take a long, long time. So the
Okay.
first thing we're talking about is you're thinking of those leads as just leads instead of people, and this is
Right.
where you need to stop. I think you need to stop doing that, right?
Absolutely. And you
Right.
can either identify them as people or identify them as contacts. You really, again, what leads become leads is when you start qualifying their needs, their interests, their motivation, and their destination. Once you start
Right.
doing that, then that's when you start determining whether or not you can work with them.
Right. Right.
I'm going to keep saying that all throughout.
Right. So they are actually people
Yeah,
with feelings, with a little bit of anxiety, and with
absolutely.
a little bit, it's like fearful maybe of the road ahead because they don't really know. A lot of the times they are what you call it. It's their first time buying. Okay.
Right.
And you have to be feeling their pains. You actually have to find their pains. The minute they're going to be able to connect with you when you understand their pains, when you find their pain and they can share that with you. Before you're able to do that, and
Right.
Israel, you can expand on this, I don't think you'll have any bond. There is nothing that's gonna stick,
Right. There's nothing
like yeah,
tactful. There's nothing. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So, as we're going over this, I mean, we're going to go through so many more, as you're
Mm,
hearing us, as we're going through this, as you're reading what we have in front of us, let us know what your concerns are. I mean, I would love to know what concerns you have as to not being able to convert. I mean, is it the willingness? Is it the fact that they're going to scream at you? I would love to hear what anybody says about that as we're going through
yeah.
all these, right? But keep in mind, again, I'm going to keep repeating this in the sense that a contact is just a contact. A lead is somebody who's interested, and you need to follow up with them. In other words, to
Right.
find out their motivation, their
Right.
destination, and their means.
So yes, so focusing on building the relationship, that's your main goal. What
Right.
do they need?
Right.
What do they, where do they want to go when? How can I
Mm-hmm.
help them in the process? Once you really start thinking, like shifting your mind to service oriented, and it's always coming back to this service oriented. You have to put your service out first before you can even do anything, right?
Right.
And then you can move on to, like you can actually get someplace. And even if you have to nurture, and that we'll discuss that further out, in the end, if it takes a couple of years, even you'll see some results. And then
Right.
the number 2 point is your follow-up sucks. I'm talking to myself when I say that, because I have a very, very short attention span. I have the attention span of an amoeba, so it's really, really short. Right? It's a one
So,
cell thing, an amoeba, by the way. In a sense,
which
it's
is
really short.
which is really interesting because a lot of top agents follow that flow too. They have pretty much a terrible follow up sometimes,
But
because
you
they're
know what?
so
Yeah.
busy. They're so
But you
busy.
also
They're
have big coaches, and
yeah,
we've
yeah,
been, they're telling you, oh, on the internet leads, like 3 times, try to touch on them. If they don't answer, just move on.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes and no, but then you have the figures that are telling you 80% of the sales happen at least at the minimum at the fifth contact, fifth to 15 contacts or something like that.
Something close to
Right?
that. Yes, yes.
Right.
Yep. Something
So
close to that.
do you want to give up on the third try and just toss those people aside? Because a lot of the times they're going to fill up something on the internet, have somebody
Right.
contact them, and then life happens. They're busy. They
Absolutely.
forget. They have other things to do.
So to add on to that, again, the follow up, the way to encounter that is, folks, you're going to hear it. You're going to think it's stalking them. What I'm going to share right now, you're going to feel like it's, oh my God, I feel bad that I do this, but it works every single time. And I'm going to tell you right now, it works outside of real estate and it works inside of real estate. Call,
Right.
text, email.
Right.
Call, text, email. Just follow
Video
that flow.
message.
Right. If you need to reach out to a customer, video message as well. If you need to reach out to a customer, a seller, a buyer, a renter, and they're not reaching out to you, and you're still doing this at least 3 times a day, they're not really interested in talking to you. Now, think of it, you doing it outside in your own real life. All of a sudden, you have a friend or family that you just can't reach. Call, text, email. Believe me, they'll reach out to you. Be like, all right, stop calling me, please, stop.
Right.
Get to a point.
And if you think you're becoming a stalker, because you may even go into their social media, when their profile is public, you can actually engage them on social media, on Messenger, on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Same thing. So if you think you're a stalker, you're not. Like it's good. And if they think you're a stalker, like Israel said, they're gonna ask you to stop. They definitely will call you to tell you to stop. But until that time, you're not a stalker. You just need to make sure, and you do a mix of things: calling, texting, going back to the Facebook. And that should happen pretty much right away, right?
Absolutely.
You need to engage as quick as possible. And then a lot of the times, agents don't
they neglect. They
they
neglect their
neglect
most
like
valuable.
some of, again, from the like some of their most valuable leads, like where they've been, again, from lack of follow-up and from lack of also qualifying that lead, not going deep enough, not talking enough to those people.
So a question that, I'm surprised no one's asking is, how do you determine a most valuable lead, right? So again, the most valuable lead starts off with the first contact, then second comes over with the qualification. Once you determine how motivated they are, whether they're ready now, ready later, or never ready, then that's when you determine exactly what kind of person you have in front of you. Whether it's a person, you class them as Group A, Group B, or Group C.
Right.
And that's exactly what I do. So in other words, after I qualify the buyer, renter, or seller, um, is really determining exactly where they are sitting. Are they ready to buy right now if I show them something today? Are they ready to buy tomorrow if I show them something today? Or are they waiting to next year?
Right.
Those are the things that you need to focus on.
You
So
need able to categorizing into your A, B, C.
exactly.
Then you
So
don't lose them in the shuffle. Right.
exactly. And don't,
Yeah.
you have to keep in touch with them.
Right.
Group A's are every day, and that's a great way of wrapping them to that, or rhyming. Group A's are every day. So
Yeah, those guys you contact them every day, and those are people that are ready to buy now, and they actually voiced
absolutely.
it out, and they're actually in touch with you. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you can't, and also your referrals, your straight referrals from your sphere of influence, those may
Mm,
not be from the internet, but those have to be tended to like right away.
right.
All right. And then
You're throwing
I don't
money
know, I
at
mean,
the
you
problem.
have, huh,
So
you
which
can
one?
see
What's
also within, and then in general you can see like your buying pool. If you're going to talk about buyers, I think,
hmm
looking at, I'm just trying to formulate my sentence here, like the chunk of populations demographically or age group wise ready to buy, the biggest chunk of population buying right now, I think they would be the
Gen
I
Z's
would
right
say
now?
30, yeah, 30 to 45. This is the biggest chunk of people buying right now with the most needs. Once you know a little bit of those numbers, let's not neglect that at all and say, okay, this is my biggest pool of buyers right there. Somebody who's 93 and tell you, I may be buying in 1 year.
Right.
I hate to say it. I mean, as much as
Yeah.
you've qualified them and you have a bond with them, yes, yes, yeah, we'll do the 1 year, but it's not like priority, because at 93 anything can happen like tomorrow. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we talked about you're throwing money at the problem. Some agents would think, let me increase my marketing budget and getting even more leads. Let me get like 1,000 leads a month. I don't think this is going to solve anything. You can actually be very successful with the 150 leads, the 50 leads that you get every month, right? It's how you work them, right?
So yeah, I agree with that 1,000%.
Yeah.
You can spend $1,000 in marketing per month, $500 per month, $10 per month. Whatever you do, just understand that whatever list you get, 90% of it is going to be a no. 90% of it is not going to be ready.
Yeah.
10% of it is going to be ready to go. And out of those 10%, you still have to qualify them,
And they're going to
right?
want to work with you,
Absolutely. You have to
right?
qualify them right away.
They're gonna have to like you. If they can't stand your guts,
Right.
it's a tough one. So it's not about how much money you spend on leads. It's really how
Exactly.
you work them. So it's a whole mindset. It's always about the mindset and stuff like that. And then the
So,
last, yeah, yeah. And I
so
want
before
you
we
to
get to the last
disagree
one,
with me. I want you to disagree with me,
yeah,
Israel. You're agreeing with
I know you
everything.
want to. I'm gonna get there soon. So, with that being said, one of the things is actually to understand you're working on the sense of marketing, and the few things you can say.
Right.
All right, everybody has scripts. Everybody has scripts. You can go from the Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry. Everybody in the world has scripts.
Yes.
But it's very simple. What I use, if you want to follow this one, is fine. I actually use it from my coach itself, Seiko. And he says, pretty much, I'm putting together a list of properties based on your search. And I just have a couple of questions to ask you. Do you have a few minutes? And I'll let you go from there.
Yes. And
That
actually, this is
alone,
not, yes, that's not, yeah, that's a great script because it's not long. And this is where I was
right?
almost going to disagree with you, because this is not a script that has like 11 moving parts to it. It's
Exactly.
only that the one thing, because I believe that all those scripts are going to make you sound robotic. And even though you
Exactly.
may learn to them to death, sometimes you have to toss that big script and be human and get
Right.
into a real conversation with the people,
Right.
and they will. And that's why I like what you just offered. because it's really a one sentence. And if you want, we can you want to type it up in the comments, Israel? That would be fantastic.
I'm not near. I have to. I'll probably do it afterwards, but it's because
Okay.
for some reason I can't do it here. But
Or if
the point is,
you want to
it's
repeat, I can type it up for you. You want to repeat
sure.
it because I think it's going to be really
I'm
important.
putting together a list of properties based on your search. And before I do, I have a couple of questions to ask you. Do you have a few minutes for me? So while Gigi's doing that, I mean, the one thing that I've taken doing this is that it opens up the door for qualification questions. Again, it goes back to the motivation, destination. How soon do you need to move? What are you looking to buy? Are you pre-approved, not pre-approved?
Mm-hmm.
Are you only looking for this particular area? What kind of house are you looking for? Is it a co-op condo? And then all of a sudden, it opens up the qualification wall or window. And now you can determine exactly what kind of list you can send to that person.
Yeah. In your
for them
nurture
in
project.
your nurturing ways,
Yeah.
right? Again, this can be said, as Gigi says, sometimes her English is not ready to go looking. But the point is, this can be said in any language, okay? Any language. You use this in any language, and it works every single time. Because, again, it opens up the door for the person to say, sure, I have a few seconds. Go ahead. What you want to ask me? Whether it becomes 10 minutes of questions or it's 2 minutes of questions, it still opens up the door for them.
Okay, I'll correct the typos on Facebook right after we're done with this, because it sort of put everything in two segments, and then I switched some letters, but I do apologize. I do like that because I don't like the whole scripted thing. It just removes the human contact, and it's just like some agent. It takes a while to really absorb scripts and understand how to use them so you can listen to a consumer. So I think, like taking it the other way around and putting your heart into it is great. All right. We're having some visitors in the office. I was just greeting them. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And the last point is, if you are only focused on the short-term success and think that you're going to get a quick deal next week out of those leads, you're shooting yourself in the foot. I think it's a total wrong mindset. You have to think long term. It's not happening today. You have to be ready to basically wait a couple of years. Are you ready to basically wait a couple of years for those people? Right?
For me, when I read short-term success, it sounds like rentals, which makes it quick, right? Or somebody who's actually looking for a particular home says, hey, I want to put an offer in right away on this particular home. But then when they go see it, that's not the offer. And then all of a sudden now you have to deal with them for 3 months.
Right. But no, but I'm trying to see, okay, and I don't want to sound like a terrible person, but I will.
Okay.
We live in a society of instant gratification.
Absolutely.
You agree with me, right?
Absolutely.
So we used to have this self-soothing, instant gratifying thing, whether it's, buying material things and stuff like that. It's like, and especially in Western society, I'm going to put my words very carefully. We're so used to this and we're expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reward is in the longevity. It's in the process, is how well you can keep those people afloat, wanting to work with you when they're ready.
Yes.
So we have to switch our mentality from the quick. This is not a quick cash scheme.
No.
This is really like nurturing and servicing people like until they are ready. And you have to stay the course for a long time. And that's the toughest part. Yes.
I've always said in real estate, I mean, for those who don't see it this way, it is not a sprint, it is a marathon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Point whatever client you have to your own career. It is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So let's go to the next clip. What's that one about?
Yes, sir. Oh.
Do
you guys remember Scarface? Okay, if you
Yes,
haven't
gotta
watched
love
Scarface,
Scarface.
it's a classic. You need to go on Netflix. I don't even think it's on Netflix anymore. Whatever, it's someplace, or rent it on
It
Prime
had to,
Video.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
have to see it because you have some good little
Just a,
nuggets.
just a
You
quick
know, like
disclosure
first you
there.
get the money. Yeah,
It's a little gruesome for those who
yeah.
can't handle it, but it is a
No,
pretty
but
good.
this was
It
like his explanation is like first you get this, and then you
yeah,
get the
yeah,
money, then you get the girls, then this was like hilarious. So yeah, in that gruesome way. So let's talk about the steps it takes to converting the internet leads into real clients. We talked about why we suck, and
right,
now let's talk about why we're not gonna suck anymore.
exactly,
Right? Oh, so number one, you have to be able to talk to them
absolutely,
any type of way you need to find to
absolutely,
talk to them. Okay.
absolutely. So you certainly need to pick up the phone or get your fingers ready, which means you're going to text or you're going to send out that email. All right,
Yeah.
you have to talk to them, no matter what. They're not your clients right off the back.
Right.
Just because they're looking at a property that you marketed or whatever, you have to talk to them.
Right.
Open houses, just because you said hello to them and showed them where the kitchen is located.
Yes. Yes. It's not
You
gonna.
have to, yeah, you have to talk to them. And again, you still have to, I use these words again, qualify them. And then once
Right.
you qualify them, they'll become the good leads you're looking
Right.
for.
Right. So I just wanted to go one step further. We have to understand that the first contact is online, and that's going to be directed to you. But what
Yep.
happened next is offline. It's not going to
Yes.
be on the computer. You're going to have to actually get in a contact. A lot of the time it's going to be by phone,
Yes.
and that's initially, even if you get a text message, the text message, yes, a lot of millennials don't even talk on the phone, but that conversation eventually is going to happen.
Right.
All right. And that's what you have to aim at, because you could be texting forever. You're still going to need to have a phone conversation so those people can meet you at a property, or you can even discuss things that are more personal. All right. And this is all it has to be. You have to find a way to speak to them. All right. That's the
Yes.
only way you're going to be able to convert that lead from being online, looking at stuff, getting personal, very personal, and then converting them.
Just
All right.
remember, you want to
Yeah.
call, text, and email
And go
always,
on their social media,
and
stalk
go on to
them.
social media.
And
Call,
it's
text, and email
okay.
every single
If
time.
their profile is public, their LinkedIn, their Instagram, their Facebook, if they have Snapchat, whatever,
That's it.
Twitter, anything
Yeah.
works. Connect as quickly as possible, and that is key.
Ooh. Yes.
That is key. And a lot of the times life happens and we're not able to connect right away, and that's okay, but that's why we need to, the follow-up is really, really important, even with seller leads.
Yeah.
When you work with referral companies that are sending you seller leads, you may not be able, they're telling you, oh, you have to answer within the next 1 to 4 minutes, and if you're already on another appointment, that's a little bit tough, but
So,
you have to get to it as soon as you can.
so there's a thing I use or say, and it's called speed to lead, right? And
Yes.
the if you're using the text format, not sure with every phone, okay, but I know with iPhone, you can actually have sort of a shortcut keyboard
Yes.
where instead of you putting in a couple letters or a couple of numbers, and all of a sudden this entire text will come out right to that person that's
Yeah.
trying to reach out to you. Okay,
Personalized text that you can,
right, it's like a
making it
personalized
sound like
text.
you. Yeah.
Right,
Like I
right.
just did right now to that
There you
seller
go.
that was calling me.
So again, you do that, right? And whether it's saying thank you for calling, thank you for this, whatever, however you want to word it, even using what I just said, which was, I'm putting together a list of properties, thank you, so on and so forth. Imagine somebody calling you at this point. You're at a open house, you're at a showing, you're somewhere. You can't talk to
Mm-hmm.
that person right away, and you just have to press 2 letters, 3 numbers, whatever the case may be. Now that person has a response from you right away.
Right.
Now that person is like, oh, okay, he or she's gonna get back to me as soon as they're done.
Right.
Right.
So
So
yes,
these are
so
things.
having system in place is very, very important, especially if
Absolutely.
you're going to have hundreds of leads every month, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
So it's very important to be speed to lead. So you want to go as quick as possible with that.
Right.
Okay. And even if the
Right.
open houses, I'm going to use that one more time. Again, you do an open house, you have somebody come in, just say thank you for coming once they leave.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
just send them a quick text. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. 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 But that's pretty huge. That's probably the biggest.
Ooh, I love this question from Wei.
What did
So,
she say?
so she says the buyer has, even if the buyer has agent already, I still need call buyer. So here's the thing.
Yes. Well,
I guess this is where you and I are going to maybe a little different, right?
no, maybe not, because I'm pretty open when it comes to this, because a
Okay.
lot of the times, trying to when they say they have an agent, and I get that you get asking for the agent's information, they don't really have it, and don't even remember the name of that agent. To me, they don't have an agent. It's because somebody has been showing them two properties. It doesn't mean they have an agent. There is no relationship there.
Hmm.
What do you think?
So
Are
my
you
answer
gonna
to,
let yeah?
oh, well, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Are you gonna let a potential deal pass by because somebody just told you they have an agent when at the open house, when there is no card, no nothing, nobody was able to produce anything?
Hmm.
Like I did this open house with Way, and I know for a fact, because I asked some of those buyers if we had the time to just help me, put down the name of the agent so we can connect with them with later with them, and they had no clue. So yes, you can, to me, you can call those buyers back. Then when they call back and they say, yes, I'm working with so and so and so, fine, no problem. You know, it's up to them.
Right.
And it doesn't hurt to ask again until they say no. That's it.
Right.
But
Right.
what's your take on this one?
I agree. I mean, whether I go back to using qualifications in the sense of, hey, are you signed up with this buyer? How many times are you signed up with the agent? Are you, currently, how many times have you worked with this agent? So on and so forth. Are you, do you have second opinions? Would you rather a second opinion? So on and
Right,
so forth. There's different ways around it, but I rather, the point to that answer that question is, it depends on your situation. So if you're at an
right,
open house, what some people will do is that they will put in an agent's phone number or an agent's name, although that agent never registered that person to you.
right. Yeah,
So they're just putting it in just to put in because they don't want you to bother them.
right.
However, you still call them anyways and just ask. Again,
Yes, they gave you
qualify,
their phone
right?
number, so you have permission
Yep.
to call them, and you should
Right.
call them. And
So,
then and then you still have to be able to give your value proposition.
right,
Meaning, can I help you with other properties? That's the value proposition.
right,
Even though we're still making the first contact, let me see what I can do for you. That's your
right,
value proposition,
right.
right? I hope we're answering Way's question.
I hope so too. Yeah.
Right.
So what's the next thing
Connect patience is a huge one.
then? That's crucial.
Patience.
That is crucial.
Patience, again, not like the incubation time, and this is all according to online statistics, is any time between, for most of the leads, the average internet leads that you're going to be getting in touch with, it's 6 months to 24 months.
Wow.
Right? And most of the time, 85% of the time, those potential buyers or those potential leads are going to come to you at the beginning of their search. They made the decision, they're going to start looking. Oh yeah, and that's it. They you being assigned to them,
Right.
right? And they're not ready today. All
Correct.
right, you want to establish the first contact right away.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
the probability of them keeping you at their agent is very high, because again, the statistics show that most of buyers out there, I would say, what was it, like a 87% or something staggering like this.
Yeah.
Most people work with the first agent they spoke to. when you say they spoke to the first person, they felt something about like some sort of bond and said, yes, we're going to be able to work with them. Right?
Right. So what's interesting about that is that I've actually spoken to buyers where they've actually said they're working with their first agent. They feel bad they're going to work with them. And of course, after giving them a little bit of my value, my information, so on and so forth, 2 months later, they're already calling me and like, "Can you help me?" Because the other person's not giving me the work that
Anything.
I need.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not. They're not giving me any kind of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about patience. And again, it's you're truthfully right in the sense that unless somebody's paying all out cash for something, it's
Yeah.
patience throughout the entire process.
But then, it's patience to also get, because the first talking to, and I'm thinking of talking to those leads is great, but ultimately you want to make an appointment. You're not
Of
going to make an
course.
appointment. You can have an appointment to have a buyer's consultation. Most of the time, it's going to be a no. So the easiest way would be an appointment to show them stuff. So you
Of
have
course.
to
Yeah.
spark their interest. The ultimate goal is to actually go out and show them stuff. With the seller, is actually go to that seller and preview their property. Right?
Yep.
So you
That's
need
all
to
you do.
have that plan to act fast to get the interest, and then have patience until you can actually go out and show them stuff. And you need a
Right.
plan to do that.
Always.
Right?
Always need a plan.
All right. I don't think we have any additional question.
No, that's
So
fine.
again, be patient. That 6 to 24 months when they're ready, because a lot of the times they may be qualifying and they're not ready yet, but they want to get the ball rolling. And the fact that they materializing their dream like this, that's going to
Yeah.
make it happen quicker. All right. And you
Right.
have to
So
be,
anybody.
yeah. Go ahead.
Right. So anybody you speak to today, I mean, it'll take them 24 months to close. It's really whether shorter or
Right.
longer. It's still going to take that
And
time.
you have to stay in touch with them.
Right.
You have to stay in touch with them, which leads us to the next and last part. You need to have a strong nurture system.
Too bad Edward's not here. This is one of his favorite moments right now as far as nurturing, adding that seed in the farm and letting it nurture.
Yeah.
Because he likes to mention and talk about that. And I agree with him 1,000%. You actually, again, what you put from that first contact to the moment that you close your buyers or sellers, you have to pretty much in the beginning, again, find out their information, find out their motivation, destination, their means, so on and so forth. Have them understand that you're there to provide the value for them in order for them to, feel comfortable to work with you. And then just like how Gigi said, it's not going to be a one-day thing. It's going to take a long time. So if you don't have a buyer who's buying today, but you have a buyer who's going to buy in 2 years, you still have to work them through.
And I want to add up, you can't work them through with BS. Sorry, that's my D side coming out.
It's okay.
Again, you have to bring the value.
Absolutely.
How are you going to help them? They have to stay on top of what's going on with the market. Yes, you're going to send them properties. You may want to send them statistics. You may want to statistics on average selling price in whatever area they have, days on the market and so on and so forth, so they can be ready. You can send them, here, just sold in that area. You can send them the MLS statistics. You can, because they're not ready right now, but you have to still bring value to them.
So there are some
CRMs.
There are some CRMs, at least the ones we use, that pretty much already has a system in the sense that you could just say, here's your market of this area. We'll send you something every month or every 2 weeks, so on and so forth. These are things you could do to them. These are things that will help out that buyer or seller determining whether they want to move forward. And it's helped. I mean, look, I've actually just recently got another lead out of the marketing.
So I wanted to add up those CRM, those programs that we have, those apps have what is called campaigns. They nurture campaigns.
Drip campaigns,
we're using KV Core, so you have prospect campaigns, prospective buyer campaigns, active buyer campaigns if you already took those
Yes.
people out. And,
Yes.
it helps. It's going to help you maximize your time. The CRM is going to send some emails and stuff. It's also going to remind you to text them, call them. You can always be, once you actually work with them, I think it's nice to be involved in their social media,
Right.
like be a little bit part of their life, like comments on what the things they're doing and stuff like that. So they know that you care, and you should be caring. They know that you're caring about who they are as people, and they
Yes,
really
I
want to
agree.
help them out, right? I
I
think
agree.
it's, you have to be like truthful. There has to be some integrity. You have to feel for them. If you don't feel for them, to me, it defeats the purpose. There's no,
Yeah.
just go work at McDonald's, do something else. I
But again,
don't
yeah, I
know.
agree. I mean,
Yeah.
when you bring value, it's
Yeah.
and when you're nurturing them, no matter how short or long it is,
Yeah.
it's very important. I mean, again, if you're dealing with the co-ops, you just give them some co-op tips, condos,
Yeah.
house tips. What can they do? What can they look for as buyers or sellers? Little things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can do things out in nurturing. You could do things to help yourself as well. So you're gonna send them all those things. You're gonna drip on them information, new listings, new stuff like that. Why not also show that you can still show them that you're a professional and ask for referrals? Use those guys. They're now part of your sphere of influence. Use
That's
those
right.
guys to get additional business,
That's right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do that. Like
I would
you
certainly do
can
that too.
utilize your CRM with what the CRM has to offer you. And when you're a little bit more creative and comfortable with using all this technology, customize those campaigns to who you are. So it's going to be like more like you can add up stuff, create your own little newsletter, and you can do mass mailing on one thing. So send them each new listings that you get, or each new listings
Right.
that your team get. It doesn't have to be in an area that they're interested in, but they're going to see that you guys are busy doing things, regarding real estate. And the buyers and sellers want to see that.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
And
I guess
it's ver-
this is, yes, go ahead.
that's the last one.
That was the last slide. And I,
Okay.
I, I think this is pretty much like the basics on lead conversion.
I think so. So I
Right.
mean, look again. Converting goes in different stages. Again, you connect with the person however you do, whether it's internet, phone, open houses, by person,
Yeah.
just walking by, just giving out a card, just going to a networking party, whatever. Connecting with a human being is the most important part.
Right.
Okay. If you look at the first slide that Gigi put in there, this one here with all those beads or whatever those
Right.
things are, it is the amount of context you're actually going to get. And then you start filtering down
Right.
exactly how many leads you're going to convert out of that. So
And
the way to convert
organizing
them,
them. Yes. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And the way to convert them, again, it's starting off with your communication, has to do with calling, texting, email, and using the social media. So if you use those formats, those little small little platforms, you're able to actually contact this person, all right, and see how far they are as far as their motivation,
Mm-hmm.
how far they are into what destination they want, and
Right.
if it's a buyer, what kind of means are they looking for? Okay,
Right.
so in other words, when I say means, pretty much the financials, whether they're buying cash or pre-approval, have they been pre-approved already? Whether they're doing cash, do they really have the cash, or do they need to sell the home
To buy. Oh
to
yeah.
buy? So
Yeah.
that's a possibility too. So the point that I'm trying to make with that is, look at the beats that you have in front of you. Contact as many people as possible. Now, when it's time to convert, keep this in mind. It's motivation, destination, means in
And
order to
then yes,
determine.
and you can, and I'm gonna see like a lot of people have leads still in spreadsheets or even
Right.
notebooks. You need technology and automation to help you remember, because if you just rely on your memory to handle those pages of leads that you have, it's going to fall through the crack. So trust
Absolutely.
technology that we have available nowadays. If
Absolutely.
your brokerage doesn't offer it to you, get some sort of way. It's not, you can get what you have some CRMs that cost like what, 60 $70 a month, that are,
That,
going to really help you, even
yeah,
$49 a month, convert those leads into actual clients. You're
right.
going to have to trust that technology and get a little bit of automation to
Absolutely.
help you sort through. Right. That's my
Absolutely.
point. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I think so. I
Right.
mean, automation, communication, CRMs, whether you use one platform to another, it
Yeah.
matters, folks. But again,
Right.
last but not least, to just to end this up, is speed to lead. Once you get that
Yes.
connection, once they show
That's it.
interest into your
Yes.
house, contact them right away. Okay, and
Right.
create a
Yes.
system that you can contact them right away.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Israel. I think we got a
No, thank you,
lot of
Gigi.
good nuggets. I hope
Absolutely.
someone can find some good ideas and a little bit more, answers to their questions, and why they're not doing what they need to do, and why they're not converting. A lot of the times it's mindset. You have to reshift
Of
your way
course.
of thinking, and say they're
Of
not
course.
just leads, and am I doing the right things to get to them. But thank you
Right.
again, Israel. This was
No, thank you.
fantastic.
Yeah, this
We
was fun.
missed Ed. I hope we can get him
Yeah, Ed
soon.
is taking a day off, I guess,
Yeah.
today, which is fine.
All
I guess
right.
we're all allowed some.
Right. So yeah, it's still almost an hour segment. Thank you guys for
Yes.
tuning in. Thank you for watching. And again,
We'll see you
don't
next
hesitate
Friday.
to contact us. Should you want to discuss associating with us, because that's very important, Israel. If any of you love to work and associate, partner up with Israel, please
Yes.
contact him. I think you have his information right here. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna put
So
us
you can
on.
take off the title there.
Yeah.
There you go. So
Yeah.
pretty much you can always find me putting it all together, Israel Martinez NYC. You can find me
Yeah.
on Instagram, Facebook, and Israel Martinez and LinkedIn. I love partnering up with a lot of folks when it comes to information or anything. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than welcome to work with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
and same thing. You guys want to take this offline and talk to me about how ways we can partner up and associate. You can find me on, of course, on Instagram. On you just Google GGPF Forestils. You'll find you'll find me. All right, guys.
Uh,
It was nice to see you again. Until next time, have a great weekend. All right, Israel,
have a
put that
great weekend,
jazz
everyone.
music again. Let's put that jazz music. Here you go.
A little jazz here before we go. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. All right.
All right. Oh, I
Okay.
miss Ed too. Is what Wade says. Ed, we miss him too.
Yes.
So next week.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.